Good evening and welcome to the news roundup for Monday the 3rd of July. Before we get into the news, please remember to like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and friends.
Reach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Now for the news in detail. A woman was killed in a gun attack on Delamere Avenue in St. Andrew on Monday morning. The deceased has only been identified as Stephanie or Browning, a hair salon operator. It is understood that about 11:45 a.m., the mother of four was on her way to pick up her 3-year-old son from school when she was attacked by unknown assailants who opened the gunfire hitting her. She was pronounced dead at hospital. The shooting is said to be linked to an ongoing gang conflict, which is being blamed for a double murder in the area yesterday. According to the police, the woman was not involved in the conflict, but is a family member of some of the people involved. She was seen, trailed, and shot dead by gunmen.
Superintendent Damian Manderson, Commanding Officer, St. Andrew South Division. It's a report coming to us is that earlier this morning, closer to 11 p.m. or 11 a.m., a female walking along that roadway when she was pounced upon by two men on a motorcycle, one of which highlighted open fire, would have just received the confirmation from KPH where she was taken that she would have succumbed to those injuries received. While we have not yet ascertained or verify the source of that incident, but our intelligence so far is pointing us in the direction of Boat Island and the existing conflict that is taking place there, where just about 24 hours prior to this incident, we had a double murder where a male and female was shot and killed in their homes, and a follow-up shooting where another female was shot in the head.
In a related story, gang warfare is said to be at the center of Sunday's double murder in the Boat Island community on Spanish Town Road. 20-year-old Shakira Thomas and 21-year-old Tyler Taylor were shot dead during a home invasion by heavily armed men in broad daylight.
What is happening in Boat Island is an ongoing gang conflict between men from Big Yard in the Boat Island space and men from the Kidley and 2 Mile space. This is a feud that has been going on for many years, but in recent weeks, past 4 to 6 weeks, we have seen tit for tat situation going on with these grouping of men. These are really men aligned to Eddie in the Big Lane and Babyface in the Norman Kid Lane area, and so we're seeking to pursue not just these two individuals, but also the individuals associated with them who are seeking to perpetrate these criminal acts.
In Sunday's double murder, it was reported that around 3:45 p.m., the two were at home when they were pounced on by a group of men, all armed with handguns and rifles. Police said the men opened fire at the two, hitting Taylor in the head and Thomas multiple times to her upper body. They were reportedly transported by residents to the Kingston Public Hospital, where they were pronounced dead by doctors on duty. The scene was processed and 15 5.56 and 7 9mm pen casings were found.
It is clear that coming out of yesterday's incident where a female was among the two that was shot and killed, that females are thereafter being targeted by rivals. And so we're anticipating and we're seeking to stem that what appeared to be becoming a trend in this conflict over the past 2 days, where females are being targeted. We do believe that it's because of the fortified nature at which and the seriousness that we took to the conflict when it came up yesterday, that someone is now being targeted outside of the Boat Island space. If you understand quite well that Delamere is possibly 1.5 miles or thereabout from 2 miles. And so we will continue our active presence in this space, we'll continue our pursuit. In fact, just prior to this, Babyface was apprehended by our operations team and is taken into custody where he will be questioned and the necessary is done. These are hardened gangsters. These are individuals who have obviously committed to themselves that this is their life, this is their lifestyle. And so we call on the many law-abiding citizens in the 2 mile space, Norman Lane, Kidd Lane, Boat Island, Top Greenwich Farm even, Alexander Road, Jordan Road and other roads leading off where we believe the alliances are, for them to work with us, cooperate with the police, don't facilitate, don't house these individuals, but to speak with us so that we seek to bring peace and tranquility back to this part of the corporate area.
Detectives assigned to the St. Catherine North Police Division have listed 5 men as wanted for crimes committed across the parish. 4 of the men are from the parish and are wanted for murder. They are Shamar MacDonald, otherwise called Chinaman of Johns Road, Glendon Amos, otherwise called Bull of Commodore District, Gregory Ferguson, otherwise called Ruff of Marchpen Road, and Dean Norman, otherwise called Max of Berwick District, Riversdale. Meanwhile, Brian King, otherwise called Marlon King of Fletcherland, Kitchentown in St. Catherine, is wanted for a shooting with intent. The men are being urged to turn themselves into the police immediately. A businessman was shot and killed while another man was shot and injured along Railway Lane in Montego Bay, St. James on Sunday night. The deceased has been identified as 61-year-old George Henry, otherwise called Hula, of Railway Lane. It is reported that around 8 p.m., Henry was at a shop he operates along Railway Lane when a lone gunman walked up to him and opened fire, hitting him multiple times. Henry died on the spot. Another man was also shot and injured during the incident. There has been a reduction in the number of fatal crashes as well as road fatalities compared to the corresponding period in 2022, according to statistics from the Road Safety Unit. Fatal crashes have decreased by 13%, while deaths are down by 6% when compared to the corresponding period in 2022. Up to June 30 this year, 206 people have died in 188 fatal crashes. Pedestrians account for 23% of road users killed since the start of the year. Motorcyclists account for 31% of fatalities for the same period. Private motor vehicle drivers account for 15% of those who have perished in crashes so far this year. An unidentified man was shot and killed by the police in a reported shootout early Sunday morning in Portmore, St. Catherine. Information is that about 3 a.m., a police team was on patrol in the Nagahead area of Portmore when they signaled the driver of a Toyota Voxy motor car to stop, and the driver disobeyed the signal and opened gunfire at them before speeding away from the scene. The police team gave chase and the Voxy ended up crashing into a canal along the Elsha Main Road. The driver of the vehicle, who was the only occupant of the unit, was found suffering from injuries. He was rushed to hospital where he was pronounced dead. During a search of the vehicle, a firearm was reportedly found by the police. The Portmore Police, along with the Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom, are investigating the incident. The man who fired 4 shots at a woman during a church service in Trelawney 2 years ago has pleaded guilty to murder. Dwight Bingham also pleaded guilty to illegal possession of a firearm for the shooting incident inside Agape Christian Fellowship Church, which claimed the life of banker Andrea Lowe Garwood. Bingham is scheduled to be sentenced on July 25th. He is the second person to plead guilty for involvement in the January 30, 2021 incident. Leon Hines, the driver of the vehicle in which Bingham escaped, is serving a 6-year sentence for illegal possession of firearm after he pleaded guilty. Garwood's stepson, Javan Garwood, is the third person facing criminal charges for his alleged involvement in the killing. His trial, which is expected to include evidence from Hines, is currently underway in the Trelawney Circuit Court before Chief Justice Brian Sykes. Prosecutors disclosed in court on Monday that Bingham was seated behind Lowe Garwood inside the church. He fired 4 shots that struck her before fleeing from the church and hopping into a waiting car that was being driven by Hines. His cellular phone fell to the ground as he fled the scene. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifford Chambers, commanding officer for the Area 1 Police, has revealed that there has been a reduction in murders in some western parishes. He admitted, however, that there are some sections of Westmoreland not previously identified as crime hotspots that are showing an increase in criminal activity. According to the Jamaica Constabulary Force, over the period January 1 to June 24th of this year, The St. James Police Division recorded the highest number of murders across all police divisions, with a total of 97 killings. This is nevertheless a reduction in comparison with the corresponding period last year, when there were 111 murders. Westmoreland recorded the second highest number of murders for the same period this year, with a total of 57, compared to 72 for the corresponding period in 2022. 2 women have been charged with introducing contraband into a penal institution after they allegedly attempted to smuggle contraband and other illegal items into the Black River Police lockup on Saturday. Reports are that the Black River Police conducted a special operation dubbed Crackdown at the institution, where food containers destined for inmates were thoroughly searched. Items including 1 cellular phone, cigarettes, tobacco, ganja, lighter, and 3 concrete nails were reportedly found in the containers being delivered by the women. 52-year-old Madeline Nelson Forrester, a teacher of St. Mary's District, Monroe in St. Elizabeth, and the 41-year-old Tracy Ann Campbell, a shopkeeper of Crawltop District in Riversdale, St. Catherine, were subsequently charged. Both women are scheduled to appear in the Santa Cruz Resident Magistrates Court on Tuesday, July 4th. Coleridge Minter, acting superintendent and the commanding officer for the parish of St. Elizabeth, is warning persons to desist from attempting to take contraband into the lockups, as persons found in breach will be given the full extent of the law. 29-year-old Shanique Salmon and 28-year-old Justin Graham, both of Berwick Road, Kingston 13, have been missing since Saturday, June 24th. Salmon is of dark complexion, slim built, and is about 180 centimeters or 5 feet 11 inches tall, while Graham is of dark complexion, slim built, and is about 177 centimeters or 5 feet 10 inches tall. Reports from the Hunts Bay Police are that about 9:30 a.m., Graham and Salmon were last seen leaving home to the Sandbed community in Norbrook. All efforts to contact them have been futile. Detectives from the Criminal Investigations Branch in Port Antonio are probing the death of an unidentified man, whose body was found along Harbour Street on Monday morning with the head bashed in. Police sources say the body was discovered in a drain shortly after 5 a.m. Monday by a passerby who raised an alarm. Upon inspecting the body, investigators noted the head injury and said there were no other visible wounds. The police are appealing to the public for assistance in identifying the deceased. 17 out of the 20 members of the Kwahal Yahweh religious group who were detained by the police during a special operation at their compound in Montego Bay on Friday have been charged with breaching the Child Care and Protection Act. This comes just 3 weeks after their children were placed in state care. The leader of the sect was also taken into custody, but it is unclear if he has been charged. The police have removed various exhibits, photographs, and other materials from the compound as evidence. The Kwahal Yahweh compound had previously made headlines in 2019 when authorities removed the children of one of the leaders. In a recent account, a former leader of the sect described alleged abuse and manipulation within the community, where the chastity of young girls is highly valued. He revealed that parents had no say in whether their daughters were groomed for a sexual orientation or forced into marriage. The former leader has been sharing information on his TikTok channel in recent weeks. In business, employees at Caribbean Products Limited in St. Andrew today staged a protest against the introduction of a flexi-work arrangement. Despite objections from employees and their union, the company implemented the arrangement. The workers are also upset because the company threatened to restructure and make redundancies if the flexi-work arrangement was not accepted. The employees believe that these discussions are outside the collective labor agreement, which ends on December 31st. A meeting is scheduled at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security to address the situation, and the National Workers Union is hopeful that a resolution can be reached to reverse the implementation of the flexi-work arrangement and continue discussions. Caribbean Products Limited is a subsidiary of the separate group. In sports, the Reggae Boyz booked their ticket to the last 8 of the Gold Cup following a 5-love win over St. Kitts and Nevis in their final group game at the Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California yesterday. Gold Cup debutant Jonathan Russell, Deshaun Bernard, Daniel Johnson, and Corey Berg were the scorers for the Reggae Boyz. Jamaica finished second in the group on goal difference behind the United States, who thrashed Trinidad and Tobago 6-0. Jamaica's opponents in the quarterfinal will be the winner of Group D, which can be Guatemala, Canada, or Guadeloupe. And on the entertainment scene, Kenrick Lord Creator Patrick, a Trinidadian-born singer who made Jamaica his home, passed away at age 87 in Hanover. He gained recognition for writing and performing the song Independent Jamaica, which celebrated the country's independence from the United Kingdom in 1962. The song became a huge hit and was produced by Vincent Randichin. Lord Creator had faced various health challenges in recent years, including a stroke, major back surgery, and hospitalization for breathing problems. He was honored with the Order of Distinction, Jamaica's fifth highest honor 2 months before his passing. He initially came to Jamaica in 1962 and collaborated with Chin on several ska and calypso singles, including Evening News, Don't Stay Out Late, and Kingston Town. The latter was later covered by UB40 and achieved platinum status in the United Kingdom. And that is it for your news roundup for today. We would appreciate you liking this video, leaving a comment, and sharing the video with your family and friends. Have a good evening and see you next time.